In the United States, a silent problem is already hitting the backbone of road transportation: the lack of truck drivers. That's right, the country that moves trillions in goods will increasingly depend on professionals who, for various reasons, will be becoming rare. The profession will require physical endurance, long, solitary hours, and an emotional preparation that few will be willing to face in the future. With a tiring routine that is increasingly unattractive for the new generations, it will come as no surprise if the sector faces a real logistics crisis in the coming years. And it is precisely in this scenario that an electric and automated solution will attract attention like never before. The upcoming Tesla Semi could represent a turning point in this context. Its promise will be bold: a truck that will reduce dependence on the human factor on the roads without sacrificing efficiency. The idea of a vehicle that can operate more intelligently, with less physical effort and fewer human interventions, will arouse not only curiosity but also hope among experts. It will be as if technology were stepping in to alleviate a burden that the human body can no longer bear on its own. And, between you and me, who has never dreamed of a machine that actually solved problems instead of creating them? While the Tesla Semi has yet to hit the roads, many will wonder whether it will truly lighten the load, both literal and symbolic, of today's drivers. If all goes as expected, the truck will offer a cabin designed with advanced ergonomics, driver-assisted systems, and perhaps even a degree of autonomy. This will not only transform the driving experience, but also attract new types of operators who are less interested in the grueling routine of conventional truck drivers. The profession could reinvent itself with the help of technology, gaining new momentum. It's interesting to think that a simple change in the transportation model could have a domino effect on society as a whole. If the Tesla Semi delivers on its promises, it will influence the economy, professional training, and even the way people view the truck driving profession. Companies will find it easier to build their fleets, reduce turnover, and will be able to invest in drivers who operate more as system managers than as road warriors. The relationship between man and machine will change profoundly, and it will be fascinating to follow this transition. The emotional impact cannot be ignored either. Imagine a father who has always driven conventional trucks, exhausted by decades on the road, seeing his son consider following the same path, but now in a Tesla Semi, with less risk, more comfort, and a more promising future. This change in perspective could rekindle the connection between generations and renew pride in the profession. A transformation that will go beyond the asphalt and reach home in dinner-table conversations. Of course, doubts will arise. Many will question whether automation will reduce jobs or whether it will just be another unaffordable luxury. But the fact is that the market is already changing and will not wait for anyone. Electric, connected, and intelligent trucks will be inevitable, and those who anticipate, who understand that the world is no longer on the old tracks, will be able to reap the benefits of this new reality. The Tesla Semi will not come to replace people, but to provide support where humans are no longer able to do so. Talking about saving 1 million gallons of diesel fuel almost sounds like science fiction, but that's exactly what the Tesla Semi will promise. When the brand's electric fleet reaches that milestone, it won't just be a victory for technology. It'll be a clear sign that the days of the traditional diesel model are numbered. Each gallon will save about 10 kilos of CO2, which, multiplied by 1 million, will result in a saving of 10,140 metric tons of pollution. It's the kind of statistic that makes anyone stop and think, shouldn't electric trucks be the rule rather than the exception? Now imagine the impact of all this on the atmosphere. If a single Tesla fleet can already avoid so much carbon emissions, what will happen when hundreds of companies follow suit? This savings will be as good as taking more than 2,200 cars off the road for an entire year. And best of all, without anyone having to give up mobility. That's because the Tesla Semi will not only replace diesel trucks, it will deliver more performance, more economy, and more environmental awareness. Now that's transportation with a purpose. While some will still debate whether electric vehicles are worth it, the numbers will show a truth that is hard to ignore. Trucks' emissions of pollutants will be disproportionate to the number of vehicles on the road. In other words, even though they represent a fraction of the national fleet, trucks will be major contributors to air quality. The Tesla Semi will emerge as a powerful remedy for this problem, with the potential to alleviate environmental pressure without compromising the country's logistics efficiency. It's curious how a technological change can affect so many layers of society. Cities, for example, will be grateful. Fewer diesel trucks on the streets will mean less noise, less smoke, and even fewer respiratory diseases. All this coming from a single type of vehicle that, until recently, was treated as a futuristic prototype. If the Tesla Semi achieves this level of impact, it will be hard to go back. And honestly, who would want to? Companies that adopt the Tesla Semi early will not only save fuel, but will also gain a powerful image in the public eye. They will be seen as innovative, sustainable, and future-proof. Their environmental reputation will be increasingly valuable, and the Semi will serve as a sort of electric calling card: quiet, clean, and highly efficient. Those who ignore this opportunity could be left behind, both in business and in the public eye. But of course, there will be challenges. The charging network, battery production, responsible disposal, all of these will be topics of discussion. However, if the starting point is to save millions of gallons of diesel and avoid the emission of tons of CO2, the result will clearly be positive. And in this environmental game, each step taken towards electric power will be an advance in preserving the planet. A point that, let's face it, should already be a priority for all industries. When it comes to freight transportation, every serious conversation will come down to one question: how much will it cost per mile? This is where the Tesla Semi will really start to shine. Compared directly to traditional diesel trucks, it promises to save 0.48 per mile. This may not seem like much at first glance, but when you multiply that by the millions of miles driven by large fleets, the figure becomes colossal. This won't just be a one-off savings, it will be a structural advantage that will shake up the entire logistics industry. The math won't lie. If a fleet of Tesla trucks drives 6.6 million miles, as has been estimated, the savings could reach $3.18 million. And that's without taking into account maintenance or tax incentives. What seemed like a curiosity for enthusiasts will become a real competitive advantage. Companies that operate on a large scale will realize that maintaining diesel trucks will be like carrying an anchor instead of wheels. In a market where every penny counts, this difference will mean the survival or not of some businesses. The explanation will be in the details. A typical diesel truck gets about 6.6 miles per gallon, while the Tesla Semi will consume about 1.7 kilowatt per mile. With electric power costing an average of 13 cents per kilowatt, the Semi's cost per mile will be just 23 cents. The diesel truck, at about $4.70 per gallon, will cost 71 cents per mile in fuel alone. That's more than triple the cost per electric mile, a difference that will be impossible to ignore. And the savings won't stop there. Electric vehicles like the Tesla Semi will have fewer moving parts, which will result in less maintenance, fewer downtimes, and fewer headaches. There will be no oil changes, engine failures due to overheating, or clutch wear. Everything will be cleaner and more straightforward. Instead of spending days in repair shops, trucks will spend more time on the road. And as we know, a truck sitting idle is a sure loss. Another interesting point will be the potential for predictability. While fossil fuel prices fluctuate with the global market, electricity will be more stable and, in many cases, even produced locally by companies with solar panels. This will give fleet managers a predictability that was previously impossible. Knowing exactly how much will be spent per mile is the kind of information that any logistics director would dream of having on paper. With this structure, Tesla will not just be selling trucks. It will be offering a new operating model for the industry. Fleets that switch to electric will gain more than just vehicles. They will gain control, stability, and advantages on a large scale. It will be like going from an old car with a sputtering engine to a silent rocket that knows exactly where it is going. The difference will be so great that the comparison may no longer make sense in a few years, when a company like Tesla announces that it will invest $6 billion just to expand production of the Semi and manufacture its own battery cells. That says a lot. This won't be just another gamble in the transportation sector. It will be a direct message to the market. Electric trucks are here to dominate. The factory in Nevada, which will already be impressive in size, will become a true beating heart of the electric revolution on wheels. And when this kind of structure starts to take shape, it's because Tesla sees something big coming in the rearview mirror. The most curious thing is that big companies will already be betting on the Tesla Semi even before it is mass-produced. PepsiCo, for example, will be one of the first to put the truck into real service, operating units in places like Modesto, Sacramento, and Fresno. This will show that this is not just a marketing theory. Operations will be happening in practice, day after day, with real deliveries being made by trucks that will not burn a single drop of diesel. And when a global giant like Pepsi moves at this level, others will follow. But why would they do this? Simple. In addition to showing environmental responsibility, there will be a much more pragmatic motivation: money. PepsiCo, for example, has already received $15.4 million in subsidies to expand its electric fleet. And if each Tesla Semi can help a company save hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years, that bill will pay for itself with pleasure. When projected for a fleet of 10,000 trucks, the savings could reach $4 billion. And honestly, who would ignore a number like that? Of course, the upfront cost will still be high. A Tesla Semi could cost as much as $250,000, nearly twice as much as a conventional truck. But with the right incentives, that number could come down significantly. Companies based in states like California and New York will have access to financing, local subsidies, and tax breaks that will make the transition much more viable. And the thing is, these programs won't last forever. Those who act quickly will benefit. Those who wait will pay more. In addition, the prestige factor will begin to weigh in. Having a Tesla electric fleet will also become a symbol of status and innovation. Companies will proudly advertise their new electric trucks, attracting media attention and gaining points with consumers who are increasingly concerned about sustainability. The brand will no longer be just a means of transporting cargo. It will become a marketing argument, a showcase on wheels. And it's worth remembering that it won't just be big corporations that will benefit. As Tesla Semi production increases and costs fall, smaller companies will also be able to get in on the action. That will be the real turning point, when even small businesses start trading in their old trucks for more efficient, cleaner, and cheaper to maintain electric vehicles. That's when diesel will start to lose ground at an accelerated rate. When you talk about a truck with an estimated price tag of $250,000, it's natural for many people to widen their eyes. After all, this price will be almost double what you would pay for a traditional diesel truck, which usually costs around $150,000. However, this direct comparison will be incomplete, to say the least. The Tesla Semi promises to be much more than just a means of transportation. It will be a platform for savings, innovation, and operational efficiency. And then, the entry price will start to seem more like a strategic investment than a scary cost. The first point to consider will be the set of tax incentives. With the credits offered by the U.S. federal government, companies will be able to deduct up to $40,000 per unit of the Tesla Semi. This will already put the real price in the range of $210,000. And in some states, such as California, local subsidies will reduce this amount considerably. In some cases, it will be possible to practically eliminate the difference between a state-of-the-art electric truck and an antiquated diesel one. But only those who act quickly will take advantage of these conditions. The magic, however, will happen over time. A regular diesel truck may be cheap to buy, but it will come with a host of hidden costs: expensive fuel, constant maintenance, frequent checkups, and natural wear and tear that will compromise its efficiency over the years. The Tesla Semi, on the other hand, will offer consistent savings wherever it goes. For every mile, that's 0.48 dollars in savings. Multiply that by 100,000 miles per year, and you'll have saved $48,000 in just 1 year of operation. Now, consider the long-term scenario. If a truck like the Tesla Semi is designed to last 1 million miles, as many estimates suggest, the cumulative savings could amount to a staggering $480,000. That means the vehicle will pay for itself more than twice its value in operating costs alone. And that's not counting the cost savings in maintenance alone, which could amount to thousands of dollars per year. It's worth remembering that electric engines have fewer than 20 moving parts, compared to more than 2,000 in combustion engines. This will mean fewer chances of failure, less time in the garage, and fewer surprises on the road. And for a fleet that needs to run as much as possible, this will be pure gold. A stopped truck delivers nothing. It only accumulates losses. And the Tesla Semi will be designed precisely to minimize this. Another interesting point will be the asset's appreciation. While diesel trucks may depreciate faster with the introduction of environmental legislation and urban restrictions, electric vehicles will gain space in urban centers, in public policies, and in corporate contracts. Companies that already have a Tesla Semi in their fleet will be ready to meet new demands quickly and, in addition, improve their brand image. If there's one thing that will take even the most skeptical breath away, it's the Tesla Semi's performance promise. An 82,000-pound truck that can still accelerate from 0 to 60 mph in just 5 seconds, without a load, of course, is not just going to be surprising, it's going to be almost unbelievable. This isn't just about raw power anymore. It's about refined engineering. And for a vehicle that's set to replace the diesel giants, delivering that kind of performance right out of the gate will be a real blow to the competition. But it won't just be about acceleration. What will really grab attention is the estimated range of up to 800 miles without towing. Something that until recently would have sounded like marketing hype. And yet, preliminary data shows that under certain conditions, that figure is absolutely possible. With a 900 kilowatt battery pack and intelligent energy management systems, the Semi could achieve levels of energy efficiency that would make even small cars seem outdated. Much of this performance will come from how energy is used. The truck will have 3 independent electric motors, but when cruising, without the need for maximum power, only one motor will be activated. This will save a huge amount of energy. It will be like turning off the air conditioning when the temperature is already perfect. You maintain comfort, but without using more than necessary. This operational intelligence will be one of the great differentiators of the Tesla Semi. Another technical point that will play a key role will be the aerodynamics inspired by Japanese bullet trains. With a design reminiscent of the Shinkansen, the Semi will achieve a drag coefficient of just 0.36, something impressive for a truck in this category. Less air resistance means more efficiency, more speed with less consumption, and, ultimately, more miles per charge. And as if that weren't enough, the lowered center of gravity, thanks to the positioning of the battery, will provide more stability on curves and when braking, increasing safety and comfort. During testing, data from fleets such as PepsiCo's will already indicate that the Semi will be able to travel up to 684 miles without a charge in real conditions. And in ideal environments, with moderate temperatures and flat terrain, the autonomy could actually reach the promised level. These results will not come just from theory. They will emerge from the asphalt, with monitored tests and public records. This will make all the difference in convincing the most suspicious that the Tesla Semi will not be just a futuristic promise. And there's more. Charging time will be optimized with Tesla's mega charger network, which will allow charging up to 70% of the battery in 30 minutes. In practice, this will mean that drivers will be able to take lunch breaks while the truck prepares for more hours on the road. Operation fluidity will be maintained, and range fear, that old ghost that haunts electric vehicles, will begin to disappear for good. With the arrival of the long-awaited sleeper cab version, the cabin with space for resting, the Tesla Semi will finally begin to consolidate its role as a true heavyweight competitor in long-distance transportation. This update, simple at first glance, will open a new window of possibilities for the electrification of cargo on interstate routes. The absence of this cabin was one of the most criticized points in the first models, especially by companies that need their drivers to spend nights on the road. Now, with this addition, the Semi will come even closer to the ideal profile required by large logistics operators. What makes this change especially impactful is the context. Most long-haul trucks in the United States have this type of cab, and the lack of one has, until now, limited the Tesla Semi to shorter or medium-haul routes. With the sleeper cab, the Semi will be able to compete directly with industry giants like Freightliner and Volvo. The idea of delivering comfort, technology, and efficiency in a single package will put the vehicle in a category of its own, that of a futuristic truck that truly understands the daily lives of those who live on the road. It won't just be a bed in the back of the cabin. Tesla will likely adopt an innovative design, with ergonomics, soundproofing, and integration with the truck's infotainment system. There could be a charging area for devices, independent climate control, and even a dashboard to monitor battery charge while the driver rests. This will create an experience that blends efficiency with quality of life, something rarely associated with the life of a trucker. And that alone will be a huge draw for professionals who spend their lives on the road. With this version, the Tesla Semi will be able to serve coast-to-coast routes, crisscrossing the country with planned recharges at its network of mega chargers. The autonomy, combined with the rest cabin, will allow for longer journeys, with fewer stops and a much smarter use of time. And all this without the typical sounds, vibrations, and smells of a combustion engine. An experienced driver will feel the difference in the first few kilometers, and this positive experience can quickly spread among fleets. Another important aspect will be the scalability of this technology. As Tesla reduces battery production costs and increases the Semi's manufacturing capacity, more companies will be able to access this solution. The sleeper cab model will not only be a luxury option. Over time, it could become the new standard for fleets seeking efficiency, comfort, and environmental responsibility. And when the market realizes that the Semi delivers all of this at a lower cost per mile, the pressure for change will become inevitable.